yeah, hi everyone. My name is Íris. I am the research manager for Running Tide in Iceland. I'm here to talk about ocean-based carbon dioxide removal and its role when it comes to fighting this huge threat that we're facing, that climate change is. A little bit about Running Tide. Running Tide is a global ocean health company. It's founded in the US, but has been operating in Iceland since 2022. We have our offices in Reykjavik, we have our biotech lab in Akureyri, and then we have a production facility in Grundartangi. We focus mainly on marine restoration and carbon removal by building technologies to map the health of the world's ocean and to amplify its natural restorative power. So what's the problem? My screen is doing something. Okay. Yeah. So we have this climate change problem. Okay. So the ocean, it produces 50% of the oxygen that the planet needs. It absorbs 25% of global carbon dioxide emissions, and it absorbs around 90% of the excess heat that is generated by these emissions. So it's not only the lungs of the planet, it's the carbon sink. I'm trying to get rid of your this right. Yeah, now my screen is looking better. So the ocean is sort of the largest carbon sink that we have, and we have to rely on it. So it's the lungs of the planet. But what is happening? We have this carbon pollution. The oceans are warming. We have acidification. We have loss of biodiversity, and it's just not really great. This is all reducing the ocean's ability to absorb CO2. But why is there so much carbon around now? What's happening? Well, to explain it just in a quite short way, the Earth system, it stores carbon in several primary carbon reservoirs, namely the marine and terrestrial biospheres, the atmosphere, the ocean, sediments and rocks. The Earth system has two distinct but coupled carbon cycling dynamics, the fast carbon cycle and the slow carbon cycle. The fast carbon cycle consists of carbon that flows in and out of reservoirs continuously up to a time scale of only up to 10 years, including the movement of carbon via photosynthesis, respiration, as well as the continuous exchange of the CO2 amongst the biosphere, the atmosphere, and the ocean. The fast carbon cycle is dynamic, it's volatile, and it can best be just understood as the flow of carbon through living ecosystems. The slow carbon cycle, on the other hand, consists of the movement of carbon via gravity. We have pressure, we have chemical weathering, and ocean overturning circulations. These processes move carbon from living ecosystem into geological and deep ocean reservoirs, such as sediments, mineral deposits, as in oil, gas, coal, and deep waters. These slow cycle reservoirs evolve over centuries to geological timescale, so long time. The fast and slow carbon cycles are loosely coupled, so they are connected. The global carbon cycle operates through a variety of response and feedback mechanism, which maintain a balance between these cycles, sort of the biosphere, sort of in the we could call the Goldilocks zone for ecosystems to thrive. But the man-made crisis, it stems from the accelerated transfer of carbon from this slow carbon cycle to the fast, surpassing the natural feedback mechanism that typically regulates this balance. So we did this. It's our fault. We have been burning huge amounts of fossil fuels over the course of only the last 2 centuries. So the Earth system may eventually reverse this man-made carbon imbalance, but that would take millions of years. And we just don't have the time for that. So this is why we need to do something about moving carbon back to the slow carbon cycle, because what we're doing now is just, well, it's not sustainable. So what's carbon removal? How does it work? Well, carbon removal is the mass transfer of carbon back from the fast to the slow cycle. Carbon removal occurs naturally in our system, like we were saying, over geological time. But the goal of carbon removal technologies is to amplify and accelerate this transfer in order to mitigate the human-caused climate emergency. So the task for carbon removal technologies of moving mass cannot be overstated. We need to move gigatons of carbon-containing mass back to the slow cycle. This is pretty huge what has to be done. Carbon removal technologies achieve carbon removal through deliberate human intervention. So we have to do this. To be relevant, these interventions must be additional to the fast to slow cycle transfer. So we need to add this to this fast to slow cycle transfer that already is naturally occurring ready. When CO2 is artificially removed from the atmosphere, it will be replaced by CO2 outgassing and other fluxes from other fast cycle carbon reservoirs, such as the soil and surface ocean, and these reservoirs are tightly coupled in the fast cycle. This is an example why it's very important to define carbon removal as fast to slow removal, not narrowly as an atmospheric removal. And the only way that we can mitigate this man-made emissions is to remove the totality of those emissions, if they're pooled in the atmosphere, soils, or oceans, from the fast to the slow carbon cycle. So what is Running Tide doing? How are we handling this issue? We have three methods of, and we have developed a global CDR system, basically, that integrates and amplifies three natural carbon pathways. You could say we have terrestrial biomass sinking, we have alkalinity enhancement, and macroalgae growth. And we use lots of science to do this. And here you can see a photo of our camera buoy. It's developed and produced by Running Tide. So lots of cool equipment that we have developed, and you can see more of it in this presentation. So let's talk about terrestrial biomass sinking. That just entails basically just carbon buoys that are synthesized from organic material of natural origin, including we have carbon-rich forestry and agricultural residue. The removal is strategic, it's targeted from terrestrial system, and it amplifies the carbon drawdown of forestry and other land use projects. So you're removing something that is just runoff from land. Use of this material in our carbon buoys results in the transfer of this material. Perhaps maybe we can talk about from forestry, for example. Here you can see a pile of wood chips, so that is from forestry. So this material will be transferred to the deep ocean, and this way we're amplifying a substantial natural pathway, removing carbon again from the fast carbon cycle to the slow cycle by making sure it sinks to depths of 1,000 meters or more. So we have the pressure there to work with us. And yeah, in this photo, you can see our production facility. This is in Grundartangi in Iceland, where a huge barge is being loaded with wood chips that are due to sink in the open ocean. Alkalinity enhancement, the carbon buoys that we were talking about before on the last slide, these carbon buoys, they're coated with alkaline material, which when introduced to surface waters amplifies the transfer of atmospheric carbon dioxide to the durable reservoirs of this dissolved marine bicarbonate. This procedure is commonly known just as ocean alkalinity enhancement. The material that we use is called lime kiln dust. But in short, this is alkalinity enhancement increases the capacity of seawater to hold inorganic carbon. So this is a great addition. Macroalgae growth, open ocean macroalgae growth, while floating, our carbon buoys act as a growth substrate for macroalgae. So they're coated with macroalgae spores. Macroalgae growing in the surface of the open ocean, of course, fixes carbon through photosynthetic growth, then sinks, transporting the embodied fast carbon from the atmosphere into the deep ocean, a slow carbon reservoir. So again, from the fast to the slow. And this photo is from our research facility in Akureyri. So yeah, we're not only talking about it, we're doing it, we're doing the work. Running Tide is already doing the work, and just in 2023, we performed 23 research deployments. 15 of these deployments were conducted at a larger research scale in the Atlantic Ocean within the Icelandic Exclusive Economic Zone, or EES. We removed carbon from the fast to the slow cycle by sinking wood. It was coated in alkaline material, LKD, to depths greater than 1,000 meters. And these deployments actually resulted in over 25,000 net tons of carbon dioxide equivalent removed, allowing Running Tide, of course, then we could issue and deliver carbon credits to our buyers. To make sure the material ends up where we want it, we design and we produce monitoring equipment that is deployed with the material. And we have a team of oceanographers that create models around our data. And also a part of the deployments, our team of scientists and engineers have researched and developed a methodology and framework protocol for the quantification of carbon removed. And here you can see this photo is from our ship moving the deployment or the biomass here in 2023, one of our 15 deployments. We are doing the work. We're also doing macroalgae deployments. We executed a total of 5 open ocean macroalgae growth experiments, both in the North Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, with the goal of validating the growth of macroalgae in the open ocean. And the key results from the open ocean growth experiments performed show a successfully demonstrated baseline of visual growth of macroalgae in the open ocean. So we were pretty proud and excited about that. But not only did we do macroalgae deployments, we also executed 3 open ocean deployments of our verification sensor equipment. So the purpose of these experiments was to test the sensor system. We want to verify our models with collected data and identify and resolve bugs and errors in our computational automation and infrastructure. This process of gathering data and modeling the results help us understand and ensure the efficacy of the carbon removal using our systems. For each of the deployments, our modeling team selected a deployment location based on the prediction model, optimized for flow time of our biomass, distribution, and terminal location. And the data from the experiments was then used to improve our modeling approach and test quantification automation in preparation for our first open ocean carbon removal system deployments. So we are continually validating our equipment and our data. But not only that, we are a science-based company, and we put great emphasis on researching the possible environmental impacts of these carbon removal deployments. We have ongoing several research projects, both internally and with partners, on the fate and the impact of depositing biomass and terrestrial and marine, both this terrestrial and marine biomass on the benthic environments. We have a benthic study in Hvalfjörður. The purpose of that is to expand the knowledge and our basic understanding of carbon additionality in the benthic layer of coastal sites across Running Tide's operating location. This study will provide data on the ecological impact of sinking this organic terrestrial carbon substrate, and also the effect of adding macroalgae to the benthic layer. We also have a benthic study with Ocean Nectars Canada. That is also sort of a benthic study, but it is at 1,300 meters depth, so that's way deeper. That is to continually observe the impact of organic terrestrial substrate and marine biomass at deep sea. So 1,300 meters. We have another one ongoing, that's in collaboration with Seafields and the Alfred Wegener Institute for Polar and Marine research, and that's to understand the fate of different seaweed species. So we have a few different seaweed species there, and also our coated biomass, and that is at a very deep level. It's at 4,000 meters depth. And yeah, and more about doing the work. In Akranes, we have our macroalgae research and production facility. The facility is fully equipped with all laboratory equipment needed for production at a pilot scale. The cultivation of 2 macroalgae species are ongoing there. We have Ulva lactuca and Saccharina latissima, both native to Iceland. This takes place in as you can see in this photo, this is specially outfitted cooling rooms where photobioreactors are used to grow the macroalgae. Running Tide scientists there apply specially developed methods to attach macroalgae to spores to a substrate of choice. And the focus there is this upscaling of macroalgae production and understanding this attachment and growth on our substrate. And of course, understanding the offshore growth of macroalgae species. So just to sum up, Running Tide has designed a system around the purpose of amplifying ocean-based carbon removal. To do this, we have developed the hardware and the software to quantify our impact. And as of today, we have already delivered credits to 25 customers, including Microsoft, Shopify, GoodZero, Patch, Stripe. And, because carbon removal is the transfer of carbon from the fast to the slow cycle, like I've said 100 times now, we deploy our systems far from coasts and focus on pathways which already remove carbon. So we're focusing on something that already exists, we're just amplifying it. And we like to think that this work is crucial in a world where we have to start thinking in a more sustainable way. How can we amplify what nature is already doing? And I hope that this talk has inspired some of you to look more into ocean CDR and other nature-based climate solutions. And if any questions pop up or you would like to talk more about ocean CDR or anything related to that, don't hesitate to contact me, send me an email, hit me up on LinkedIn. And thank you for your time.